Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyana Mita Sukhi Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 60 by Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima. Tonight's class is the 11th class of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and we are going to continue discussing the middle path about right concentration or sammāsamādhi. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is the 5th sutta from the total of 10 suttas that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Padana Klang Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous 59 classes there. The Sutta discussion Zoom class is always open, therefore whoever that wish to join the class via Zoom, where we can engage directly with Bhante, can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Padana Klang's Facebook Messenger. We are always welcoming newcomers. Our speaker, Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima, currently is the Senior Advisor at Ti-Ratana Canada, a virtual Dhamma organization that helps beginners as well as expert students in learning Dhamma in a variety of ways. Many people are interested in Dhamma Ti-Ratana, Ti-Ratana's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conduct on regular basis. You can check on Ti-Ratana with the link www.ti-ratana.blogspot.com. Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima earned his PhD studies in 2015 from University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2015, Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante. Thank you very much for your wonderful talk.
Thank you, Aliana. Good evening, everybody. Welcome
Good
back
Good evening,
to
Bhante.
Good evening, Bhante.
welcome back to our Sutta discussion day 60. And also this is going to be the 11th class of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Not probably, it's going to be our final class about the Noble Eightfold Path, because after today's topic, sammāsamādhi, we're going to do a review, kind of a concise, brief review about the whole 8 factors. And then we're going towards each noble truth. Look at Arya Satya, that is the plan. With us, we have today Aliana, Lim, Kim, Kelvin. Bella is back after some time, huh? Brother Wu, Nine Cheng,
Sure.
TC Lim, Hema, Hazel,
Hema
Jacqueline,
missing for
and
many
Chan.
weeks.
Yes. So, with that in mind, let's get started by paying homage to Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammāsamādhi. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammāsamādhi. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammāsamādhi. Right? So, as we have been discussing the Noble Eightfold Path, we discussed sammāsati last week. Sammāsati was about right mindfulness. And right mindfulness is a supervisor of our path. Plus, without right mindfulness, we are not able to understand the unwholesome side of every fact. And we also said that there are 2 other supportive factors, noble path factors. They are sammā-vāyāma and sammā-diṭṭhi. So sammā-diṭṭhi, sammā-vāyāma, sammā-sati always circle around. They support they intertwine each other, they circle back, they reinforce each other. Also, they increase the capacity of each other. So these three, having been a pillar, I would say a supporting pillar, support each other, at the same time support the other path factors. All right. After Samma-Sati, today we are going to be discussing Samma-Samadhi. Right? So, what is Samadhi? Now we have to discuss about it. Because Samadhi is a very popular topic, especially in other religious philosophies too. Probably, if you may have heard about Hinduism. In Hinduism, they talk about yoga and Samadhi, right? So practicing Samadhi is not a new thing to them. So they have this understanding about what Samadhi is, according to them. But sammāsamādhi is different from this, the normal word called Samadhi. So before that, let me probably bring about a couple of words. Now, one of the very famous words about concentration in the Pali Canon is ekaggata. Okay, let me write that for you. Type. This is one of the very famous words that we have about concentration, kind of concentration. Ekaggata. What is ekaggata? One pointedness. Your mind is fully engrossed, or your mind is fully concentrated on a particular object. Say, for instance, there's a cat who is fully concentrated and fully engrossed about a mouse hole, looking for a mouse coming out of the mouse hole, fully concentrated, looking for the prey. And there, let's take another example. There's a heron who is on one leg on the brink of the river, looking for a fish, fully concentrated, fully engrossed, looking for the prey. There's a soldier, law enforcement officer, who is in a battle, I would say, who is in a place where the terrorism happens, maybe probably some criminal things happen. So they are using their, what you call, the guns, always ready, stand by to trigger that part, right? Fully concentrate. So then the mere concentration, mere samadhi part, just samadhi, according to this, may not work. Or ekaggata, one-pointedness. Ekaggata alone may not work. Samadhi alone may not work. Because there are many people, many animals, many people. I think everybody, we all are having ekaggata or just mere samadhi at all times, or at least more often. Where do we find ekaggata? This Pali word called ekaggata. And what is the connection of this word to sammāsamādhi or samadhi? Let's figure out that part first before we jump into the rest. Where do we find ekaggata? Ekaggata is a jhana factor. When you overcome 5 hindrances, another 5 things coming up, right? When you supersede, or when you, I would say, overcome, when you even temporarily withhold 5 hindrances, kama, chanda, vyapada, tinamidda, uddhacca, vicikiccha, then there are other 5 good things come up. What are they? Vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. Interesting, huh? The way how it works was given in a slide in one of my blog posts. Let me show you that. think we already shared with you the group, but let me show you from the. All right. So okay. All right, so you can see this here. Okay, the connection between the withdrawal of 5 hindrances, Nivarana, and intensification of jhana factors. This means, if you can look at Kamacchanda, Vyapara, Ti-Ratana, Dhammacakkappavattana, these are the 5 hindrances that are always troubling us on a daily basis. Don't think about defilements, the higher versions of the Panchanima. Now, defilements, kilesa, taints, asava, they are higher versions of these 5. But these 5 are the fundamental obstacles for us to become concentrated, especially in a good way. There are people who are getting concentrated in a bad way all the time. Animals, don't talk about it. I'm talking about why can't we keep us focused, fully concentrated in a good way? It is because these 5 are troubling us, bothering us all the time. Kamacchanda means sensual desire, ill will means vyapara, Tina-midda means sloth and trouble, Uddhacha kukucha means restlessness and worry, remorse, regret, Vichikiccha means skeptical doubt, not just the doubt, mostly about spiritual stuff. Now see, when you withdraw Kamacchanda within you, then what can definitely bring you to? It will take you to ekaggata, one-pointedness. So your mind is fully focused on one particular thing. Wise attention of the repulsive feature of things. Now, normally, if you approach a meditation teacher, then the meditation teacher will recognize your problem. What is your problem? That you cannot practice meditation. Or maybe you are somebody who is always attached to people and things like that. Then the teacher will give you to focus on the 32 body parts, anatomic parts. So then you don't look at that person. He's not, she's not. It's just a bunch of 32 body parts. Thinking about those 32 body parts, not looking at the whole body, just looking at different 32 body parts. By practicing that meditation, you can withdraw your Kamacchanda into one point. Then vyapara. Let's say you approach a meditation teacher. Bhante, I get very angry all the time. I cannot control my anger. So then that meditation teacher will do a proper review about your life, the way how he or she understands, and then we'll give you the metta meditation, wise attention of loving kindness. Then it will take you to peace, rapture. If you are someone who is always lazy, sluggish, lethargic, you listen to Dhamma, but you are a very lazy person. I want to sleep a lot. I can't do this. So no energy, unless you don't have a mental health problem. Then that means you may have one of these two, sloth and teen and big. So at that point, the teacher will tell you wise attention of the elements of effort, exertion, and striving. So he will or she will ask you to practice more virya, diligence. I would say more, appamāda kind of thing. That will take you to vitātta, applied thought. You can ask me any questions after. Don't worry about the terms at this point. And then if you are someone whose mind is always going away from particular object, particular situation. You are not in the right mind. When you go for an event, when you go see somebody, when you are in an event, your mind always running around. Then the teacher will give you then a meditation called wise attention of tranquility of mind. Now, this is more likely a samatha meditation, basic. That will take you to sukha, mental happiness. Sorry, the bodily happiness too. Then, if you are someone who is always struggling with doubts, spiritual doubts, then at that point, the monk or the nun or whoever the teacher will give you a meditation about the anicchata, real qualities of things, anicca dukkha anatta perspective, so that you are not going to be so much worried about the things. Right? So there are people who are so much skeptical about things. Bhante, Prince, what do you call ascetic Siddhartha, Prince Siddhartha crossed over that long river with a horse. How come he jumped? Jump from this bankment to the other bank? Who cares? You know? We don't care about it. We don't know how it happened, but it happened. But the way how it happened, we have no interest about it. We are very interested about the Dhamma part, right? There may be some miraculous kind of stuff, right? So what I wanted to tell you is that this Pali word, ekaggata. Now, this Pali word plays different meanings in different contexts. Now, here, because we are talking about what do you call the samadhi, pancha nivarana, the withdrawal of pancha nivarana, and then intensifying the jhana factors thereof is very important. That is why I brought up this point about ekaggata. But ekaggata in the Abhidhamma says that ekaggata is a normal mental state. All right. So everybody has it all the time. So there are 7 mental factors. We call them chetasikas. Whatever you do, good or bad, you definitely have ekaggata. It is like the example of the cat, heron, or soldier, or whoever. Because you have a certain kind of focus. Otherwise, you can't do it. Good thing or bad thing. But it is not sammāsamādhi. A sammāsamādhi is a heightened state. It is the highest state of the part 2, right? So then if somebody asks, if I focus on the good side of my samadhi, ekaggata, then that will be what you call sammāsamādhi. If I focus on the bad thing of the ekaggata, that will take me to the micchā samadhi, wrong samadhi. So we can say ekaggata can go in 2 ways. One is good ekaggata. Second is bad ekaggata, right? There are no words called good ekaggata. I just want to show you how it works. Huh? So good ekaggata means sammāsamādhi, but bad ekaggata means micchā samadhi. In other words, otherwise you might not know that it works this way. Means strong concentration. I would say micchā samadhi better. Sometimes these English words can complicate us in our real meaning. Now, why is there a micchā samadhi? How can a samadhi become micchā? Now, I'm not talking about that cat's example, heron's example, soldier's example, but there are Indian ascetics, Hindu ascetics who do practice samatha meditation in India or elsewhere. Why? So here micchā samadhi means that part, exactly. Why their samadhi is being called as micchā samadhi? Why there is another type of samadhi that the Buddha talks about? The reason is that if someone does not practice sammā-diṭṭhi, sammā-saṅkappa, sammā-vāca, sammā-kammanta, sammā-ājīva, Samma Vaya, Samma Sati, but it directly goes to sammāsamādhi. Just wants to practice samatha meditation. That is Micchā Samadhi. Why? That Samadhi has no purpose about the Nibbana. Because if you start with Sammadhi, then you know why I am doing this, why I am following this path. It is solely to attain Nibbana. So practicing sammāsamādhi, I would say those jhanas with the focus of Nibbana is the sammāsamādhi. Practicing jhanas just for the mental happiness, just for the bliss, is Micchā Samadhi, according to us. For them, it is their samadhi. But for us, it is Micchā Samadhi. All right? That means if you do not practice Sammadhi, Sammasankappa, Sammavaca, Sammakamanta, Sammāājiva, Sammavayama Sati, if you directly think that I don't want to practice any, I just want the meditation part. Samatha, jhana, you directly tap into that, you are practicing Micchā Samadhi. Micchā, wrong concentration, wrong samadhi. It is it is unnecessary and it takes you out of the path. Because in the Buddhist teachings, the Buddha says all the time, Sammadhi is forefront to all other things. All right. Any questions about that before we jump into the rest of the places?
Bhante, in the
Yeah.
Bhante, in the Abhidhamma, normally they start with Vitakka, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, and Ekaggata. But just now the order is not the same. Or should he go in order? Because he from jhana to
No. Abhidhamma, as I told you, Abhidhamma has a different context about Ekaggata.
Okay.
Jhana factors have a different context. Now the Ekaggata under the mental factors, Cetasika, and Ekaggata under the Pancha Jhana factors,
Yes.
they are two different contexts.
Okay.
That is why I said in the Sutta Pitaka, Ekaggata is a higher thing.
Okay.
That somebody has to withdraw one of Pancha Nivaranas and then to attain. But in Abhidhamma, they say Ekaggata is a normal mental state that everybody has it at all times.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
That's the thing. So what we have to understand is that now we are talking about sammāsamādhi, not ekaggata. Ekaggata is a fundamental type of concentration. When you say I'm concentrated, that is ekaggata. Right? But whether you focus on a wholesome object and unwholesome object, it is a different thing. That is what we are talking. Let's say you are listening to a song. It is a sensual pursuit, right? Whatever the song you are listening, it's a sensual pursuit. So that is not a sammāsamādhi, right? Because your object at that point is that you are lustfully, you are sensually attracted to that particular object, right? So,
Bhante.
Let me
Bhante.
finish.
Oh, okay.
So although we talk about concentration in whatever the ways, but here sammāsamādhi means that you are concentrated, fully concentrated on a wholesome object, or maybe for a wholesome reason. Yeah, Brother Wu.
I just want to clarify, Bhante. So it means the Noble Eightfold Path, when we practice, there's a sequence to practice it. You have to practice this first before you practice sammāsamādhi. I thought the Noble Eightfold Path, they said, is to be practiced simultaneously.
Yes, a very good question. I think that is up to our review actually, but I can give you kind of a heads up. No, let's say you are a newbie. You don't know anything. Can you practice everything together? No, you have to go one by one because you are a newbie. Although you know Dhamma, but you don't know the path very well. So you practice one by one. Then when you are able to practice all these factors at the same time, then that is how you're going to practice. It is like that you are going to learn swimming, but you are not going to show your talents on the first day, right? You learn. You learn shallow diving, you learn deep diving, and you are not going to the deep diving in the first day, on the first day. But maybe you are learning, but after a certain time, you show every talent in one session. Isn't it true?
Yeah.
You do the shallow diving, you do the deep, you do all the things. People are, really? But you are not going to do that on the first day. In the same way, you first learn one by one, but in real practice, let's say you learn one by one, then after some time you practice many of them simultaneously. Maybe at a certain time, you are able to practice everything together. You are so much capable of doing that. That is how it works. Okay, so back to the topic. Ekaggata, let's forget about Ekaggata now because we have talked about Ekaggata already. Ekaggata has good part and bad part. I said Ekaggata is a very normal, super normal state of mind, just a concentration. When I'm listening to a song, I'm not saying that listening to a song is bad. It's okay. I mean, in terms of the wholesome, unwholesome perspectives, I have a sensual gratification that I'm having. Saying that this is a classic song, pop rock, or whatever. But like when I'm fully engrossed with that particular song, be that a Buddhist song, what is happening in my mind is that I'm concentrated. I'm fully concentrated about the song. Maybe the singer, song, lyrics, or whatever, situation, event, concert. But it is not sammāsamādhi. Because my object of the concentration is not a non-sensuous object. Because if today, as we learn, you will see what kind of object that will mount our concentration on, right? It should be non-lobha, non-dosa, definitely then non-moha, right? That, where are we going to go to the upekka? When you go to upekka, then you have no problem with the object. That is the highest perfect state of mind that the jhanas bring us. Sammāsamādhi bring us, right? So, that is what we want to learn at the beginning at this point. Yeah, Dihan?
Bhante, then for the studies, when we are doing studies, then we have to get the ekaggata. That means we have to concentrate to a given subject, right? So that one falls in which area? It's a different one, no?
You mean the focus in our studies?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, here's the thing. We don't want to connect this samma miccha part to all our concentrations unless it is necessary. Now, as a child, as a teenager, as an undergrad, postgrad student, maybe as someone who is a lifelong learner, they may have to study different secular subjects. If you're going to say, hey, you are studying what you call home science, you are studying geography, you are studying about the history of French Revolution, and people are fighting over things. You are studying about the Second World War, people are fighting over different things. So you come up with a hatred kind of. We don't bring that to that kind of subject. But if you are so worried, so concerned about your samadhi, definitely yes. You are so serious, so concerned about it. But that doesn't say that those who studied on different subjects, because unless you don't study about something like Buddhism, then or another religion, philosophy, you might have to study different secular subjects. It's not bad. But if you are very serious about your practice, sammāsamādhi, you will understand that this is not sammāsamādhi. This is samadhi, but it's not sammāsamādhi. It is miccha samadhi, right? It doesn't say that those who study other subjects, those who study subjects that are not wholesome are bad people. We don't say that. This is because this is a choice, right? Whether I do the practice or not, it's a choice. It is not a something that we do by force. All right. So now let's get into our sammāsamādhi practice. How does someone practice sammāsamādhi? For that, I want to tell you, it is basically nothing but the 4 jhanas. These are the 4 jhanas. What are the 4 jhanas? First jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. How do you practice jhana? How do you attain jhana into different jhanas? What is a jhana? Jhana means it is not a Buddhist practice in the first place. It's an ancient practice. All right, even before the Buddha, many thousand years ago, the ascetics, those tapases, ascetics have been practicing samatha meditation, and then they attain these jhanas. But there are differences after the practice of the 4th jhana, because here the Buddha asks us to bring anicca dukkha anatta perspective to the jhana, because ancient Indian ascetics do not bring anicca dukkha anatta to their practice. They simply wanted to be happy. But the problem is all happinesses will get ended up with something else at the end, right? So that happiness is not everlasting. That is why the Buddha said, when you practice jhana, sammāsamādhi, jhana practice, you should do it with anicca dukkha. I have a lot of things to discuss, but just to say in short, I would say, let's understand our jhana practice, your jhana practice, to focus on the anicca dukkha anatta perspective, not just to be happy. I'm fully happy. But then what happens? That bliss will not last because you did not achieve that one, attain those stages with Ti-Ratana, impermanence of the object, and then unsatisfactoriness of the object in substantiality, anatta perspective of that object. This is Buddhist. This is 100% Buddhist version of the jhanas, anicca dukkha anatta perspective. This is not in the samadhi philosophy in other religions. Now let's see what is normally happening when you practice jhanas. How do we practice jhana? Can anybody tell me how do you practice jhana? We have to go back to our last Friday discussion. What did we talk about the meditation part for samatha? All the meditations that we discuss according to Kaya-Vipassana, they can be taken as samatha meditations. Anapanasati, breath meditation, Iriyapata, walking meditation, sitting meditation, lying down meditation, standing meditation. That is one other. This is also kind of a samatha because you are trying to focus, trying to calm yourself. Then sampajana, full awareness meditation. So let's say when you eat with sati. You know what you are eating. When you drink something, you know what you are drinking, how you drink, and all that. When you even watch TV, you watch TV, eat and watch TV, right? You are on a particular object. And then when you even not talking to someone, you are a very silent person today. You are not talking to other people for a reason, but you know why you are not talking to other people, not for a bad subject. Right? Has anybody attended silent meditation retreats? They don't talk, right? They just manage, because not talking is an ability, right? Not many people can do that. Being able to not talk, because we always try to open our mouth, say something, right? Very difficult to keep our mouth closed. It is an ability. If we try it without offending other person, you can say that I'm practicing something. You should not offend other people, right? Just walk away and look away. But it is a skill. So whatever the full awareness meditations, they are also samatha meditation. So because you are trying to calm yourself, right? So from whatever some of the meditations you practice it, now in the Visuddhimagga, Buddhaghosa talks about 40 meditations, but we are not going there. We are only talking about Ti-Ratana Sutta version. So you are calm now. But when you want to reach up to certain jhana stages, how are you approaching that path? Let's learn about it here. Okay. Let me type in that under the chat. Okay, it's a bit of words, huh? Don't worry about this. A lot of words. This is how it was given. First jhana. What will happen in the first jhana? Number one. Maybe I should do something like this. Probably. You might otherwise not know. First jhana. First jhana. Okay. Viviccheva kamehi, viviccha akusalehi dhammi, savitakka savichara, vivekaja pitisukha, patamajjana, usampajja vinad. Now, when you withdraw pancha nivara, what are they? Kamachanda, Vyapada, Tinamidda, Uddacha, Kukucha. What will immediately happen within you? You are going to withdraw from the sensuality. Can you attain any jhana with sensual things? You will never achieve any jhana with lust, with lobha. Right? You definitely have to withdraw your lust, especially kamaccha. So now the process to becoming somebody who is attaining first jhana is someone who already withdrew from sensuality, kamachanda part, and then he attains the first jhana. The first jhana, what are the things that he or she is going to withdraw over there? Viviccha kame, viviccha kusalehi dhammi, savitakkam, savicharam, vivekacham, pitisukam, patamajjana. Then that person is attaining to, that person mounting on, that person is attaining to vitakka, vichara, pitisukha, jhana factors in the first jhana. That means you are acquiring, receiving vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha. Are they good stuff? They are good things. Compared to the pancha nivarana, they are very good things, right? So now let's say you already attained the first jhana. Because of why? You withdrew yourself from the sensuality. Can we easily withdraw us from sensuality?
No.
It is not very easy. Don't say no. There are people who did that. Right? Now, to tell you a short story, a lot of people talking about Bhante. There are people who did not meditate, just went to the Dhamma talk. At the end of the Dhamma talk of the Buddha, they attained Nibbana. How come this happened? But there are amongst other people who meditated long time, then attained Nibbana. Second version. How could this happen, Dhamma folks? It's an interesting point to discuss. How come somebody went to a Dhamma talk, I would say monastery, at that time, not now, because we don't know what's happening now exactly. At that time, the Buddha or whoever the other monk, Arahanta, whoever, when they taught the Dhamma, at the end of the Dhamma talk, probably a couple hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, at the end of the Dhamma talk, probably short time, they had attained Nibbana. And the second version is there are people who meditated on different subjects for long time. Sometimes some people could not attain anything, but some could. And also the third version is there were some little boys like Rahula and those people. At the end of their shaving of the hair, they attained Nibbana. 3 versions. A little boy attained Nibbana at the end of his shaving in that short time. And then many other people went to listen to Dhamma talks, and at the end of Dhamma talk, they attained Nibbana, not Sakadagami, not Sauvahotapan. And there are other people who kept practicing meditations and then attained Nibbana. Why is this?
The stage
What could be the
of
reason?
the stage of their paramiya.
I think
Has-
one day they have accumulated in all their past lives and ready for it.
Yeah. So here we have an answer here, has been cultivated before in their past life, has strong parami. So now when listen to Dhamma talk, can attain Nibbana. Same idea, right? So what does it mean? Buddhism talks about the samsara, not one life. This is the thing. So those people who at the end of a Dhamma talk attain Nibbana, because they must have become Sotapanna, Sakatagami, Anagami in past lives. Not in this life. So we are very surprised. Huh? I heard there are some speakers, they are saying, Dhammacakkappavattana, you can't attain Nibbana by meditating. Remember those incidents. I will teach you Dhamma, you're going to be attaining Nibbana. They wrongly understood this point. Right? There are some speakers. They wrongly understood. They are trying to look at it only from this side. Have you ever seen some genius little boys who could calculate big maths? Not a number.
Yeah.
They do the maths very fast, right away. How is that possible? You take the same child, same age. He can do that. She can do it. Because that person has already done a lot of maths in past lives. Something simple to that person. Right? It's no wonder. Even we here must have met in previous life. That's why we are talking Dhamma now online. Right? This is how things happen. Right? That is why Nibbana comes to different people in different ways. We have to always trust their sansaric abilities, sansaric kusala. Remember that incident too, I think I shared with you sometime about Santati, Minister Santati. Remember that incident? One of the kings, I think it is King Kosala probably. He had a very loyal minister, Santati. And he sent Santati to pacify a certain war, certain probably an insurrection somewhere in that state. What happened? He managed and he won the particular insurrection. So he came back. So the king asked, "What can I do for you?" He said, "I fell in love with a woman in your harem. I want to be with her." I said, "Okay, go for it." So this evening, so he was so drunk, not sober, he was so drunk, he was going on an elephant attached to the king. And then he was going like a show's buckling, like just moving to this side and that side, being on the elephant. The Buddha and Venerable Ananda and all these monks, they were going somewhere on the same road. And then the Buddha addressed monk Ananda. Ananda, do you see that man on the elephant? Yes. Yeah, he's that guy, Santati. He just returned from an insurrection. He properly executed the king's instructions. So he was a very talented one. But he's very drunk, huh? Very drunk. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe he's going for something not good, virtuous. You know what? Tonight he's going to attain Nibbana. Really? This guy, drunk guy, going to see a woman at this night? How is going to attain Nibbana? Impossible. You see what's going to happen to him. He went sometime in the night when he was with her. She suddenly fell ill. And she died from a heart attack or something. And then, although Santati was into the government stuff, kings chose, also he was into drinking to some level and also to other things, lustful things. But he had developed his mind in his past lives. So he quickly understood the one that I really loved for a long time. She or whoever passed away in front of me. And this is the impermanence. And I suffer because of that. And I understand that nobody is belong to nobody. Now, don't think that you can drink, you can do all the bad things, and you can have Nibbana. That's a very specific contextual thing. I'm telling you to understand things work for different people differently. That's what we have to do. Right? It's not common, right? If we talk like that, how many people doing all these things? They never attain Nibbana in this world. Alcoholic people, so much with lustful things, but they were never acting because they had not done enough kusala things, like in the form of power. All right, so as you see now, there are different avenues for different people because of their samsaric karma. Number one, when someone is attaining samadhi, sammāsamādhi, first thing is that that person is attaining the first jhana. In the first jhana, he is earning vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha. Then now he is continuing. So when he is continuing, what's happening is that he or she is attaining to a different stage. I would say second jhana. All right. Vitakka vicharana upasama. Now, at this point, vitakka vichara will be withdrawn by the person. Why? Vitakka vichara is a problem to continue my samadhi. Interesting, huh? Vitakka vichara is good when you don't have any samadhi. When you have some samadhi, vitakka vichara is also a problem to me because you have to focus on a certain object. Right? With the stilling of directed thoughts, vitakka and evaluations. Actually, we are doing that all the time. Huh? We like to take thoughts and then we would like to evaluate all the time. So it's complicating our mind, right? So at this point, when he attains the second jhana, he stills his mind, he's withdrawing vitakka vichara. Now he simply has piti, sukha, and then one more good factor is coming up to him. Ekaggata is coming up to him at this point. With the stilling of directed thoughts and evaluation, he enters and remains the second jhana. Rapture and pleasure born of composure, unification of awareness, ekaggata, free from directed thought, vitakka, evaluation. All right. Now see that comment. In the second jhana, intellectual activity fades. You are not pursuing intellectual rationalization at that point because that is also a disturbance to us, right? And then replaced by tranquility, right? Piti, sukha, ekaggata. So what we have to learn here, when you attain the second jhana, you are getting more peaceful, but the vitakka vichara you received in the first jhana will be gone away. Make sense? And then let's talk about the third jhana. Now you already have piti, sukha, ekaggata. What will happen to you if you continue the jhana practice? According to us, this is sammāsamādhi practice. Third jhana. Even piti, give me a second. Even piti also will be gone away from you because piti also sometimes a disturbance. So when you are so happy, when you are so joyous, joy also a problem sometimes because it troubles us at a certain point. But up until second jhana, it's okay. With the fading of piti, he remains or she remains equanimous. Now upekkha comes. You have sukha and upekkha. Now this is the most important part. In the third jhana, the rapture fades, piti goes away and is replaced by upekkha. This upekkha is the most important state of mind, Dhamma folks. When your mind is on upekkha, you are very balanced minded. You are not into raga, lobha. You are not into dosa. You are here. No particular object to focus that. Right? Your mind is so serene. But you will come to that point at the third jhana. But still you have sukha, right? Although you have upekkha, you still have sukha. Sukha can also be a problem because you feel happiness in a different way. Now we are going to the fourth jhana, which is the last jhana for us in this process. Huh? Fourth jhana. What will happen under the fourth jhana? Let's take a look. Okay, we will have to go to the sutta, this one. Such. Okay, what you have to understand here is that under the fourth jhana, what's happening is that you will come to the perfect upekha. Anybody has any questions until I find that point about 3 jhanas? Yeah. There are things happening even when you attain the first jhana, then we move to second jhana, then when you proceed to the third jhana.
Bhante, can you explain in depth the piti?
What is it?
How is,
Piti.
yeah, the rupture.
Yeah, piti here is the what do you call the mental happiness, mental joy that you will have when you are peaceful. Okay. It is not the joy that come out of the sensuality. Let's say when you meditate, there are certain blissful states where you feel joyful about your practice, right? But when you proceed, it is also going to be a problem. It's just the happiness, a joy about your practice. Yeah. It is not the joy about the sensual thing, because you can't ever attain jhanas with sensualities. You will approach all these things once you withdraw sensuality and then go higher. Start from vitakka vichara piti, and then vitakka vichara also will be withdrawn because they are also going to be problems to your meditation. And then you will go only with priti sukha ekaggata, and then you will come to the third jhana where you also leave piti, because piti is also a problem at that place, because when you are joyful, it is also troubling you. And then sukha upekka. Actually, I don't have the fourth section at the moment, but I have to tell you is that then you will only have upekka, sukha also will go away. Piti went away at the third stage, sukha also go away at the fourth stage. I can simply say here, sukha will go away and you will only stay with upekka. This is what I want to emphasize. Now, sorry, not satya, sukha. Sukha, capital mistake. Sukha will go away. You will, when you come to the fourth stage. Aliana, it's about some of the meditation thing. Parikamma, upachara, appana means what do you call? This is by understanding about different states of your samadhi. I would say when you know, Buddha has not clearly explained these things. These are coming from the Visuddhimagga actually. We don't see it in the Pali Canon exactly. This was given under the Visuddhimagga's explanation of the Samatha Bhavana. Just for clarification. So what you have to understand out of these three names are that you understand where you are in your samatha meditation. Now you got the object, and then you are near the upachara means you are near the object samatha meditation, and appana means you are almost there, right? Other than that, you don't have to worry about it. It's coming from Visuddhimagga. So we are not touching the commentary at this point. We are only dealing with the Pali Canon, so that we know that this is only what the Buddha said. So those 3 stages are stages that the Visuddhimagga talks about the samadhi, especially samatha bhavana, and how you attain samadhi. So what we understand according to Pali Canon is that when you withdraw sensuality, you attain the first jhana. In the first jhana, you have vitakka vichara piti sukha. But when you continue your first jhana, then you will come to the second jhana, where you understand vitakka vichara also problematic things to my practice. Then I have to withdraw them. So I withdraw vitakka vichara, I will come to piti sukha ekaggata. Then when I continue, I understand PT is also a problem. When I'm jovious, it is also a problem for my continuous samadhi practice. Then I will only stay with Sukha and Upekka. In the fourth jhana, I understand Sukha is also a problem. Yes. When you always think I'm happy, even mentally, that can bother my samadhi. So I have to be on Upekka. Upekka is the balanced state of mind. The most important thing, you look at Paramita, Upekka is the endpoint. Even when you look at the 4 Brahma Viharas, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka is the highest state of the mind, even life. Because if you look at problems in our life, we always come across the problem because we pick on either Lobha or Dosa, and then Moha, right? We can't normally be able to be in the middle, right? This is the problem. That is why Upekka is the, if you ask me, Bhante, what is the highest state of mind that I can spend my day? Upekka. You will see no problem. Even somebody criticizes you, you feel very okay. You don't care about such. You are not going to respond, react. You are perfectly okay because you are not worried about anything. Right? That's why the Buddha said, winning over other people is not the thing that we are supposed to do. Winning oneself is the thing, because we can't win oneself. How come that person talked to me like this? Because I want to defend myself internally. That is why Upekka is very important. So anybody who wants to practice samatha meditation here should know your goal is to attain Upekka in your samatha practice. Or if you just close your eyes and just spend hours and hours, it won't take you anywhere. Because this is the theory. So after the meditation, you won't be able to come to Upekka unless you are not successful. Let's say you are very successful, you come to Upekka. Or if you want to see a progress of somebody who is meditating, you will see how that person reacts, responds to you. Somebody who is very calm, quiet at the same time, not bothered by anything in this world. Yes. In a world where everybody going after sensual gratification, there's a drop of honey, some hits of some stimulus, you find your own happiness with you at that point, because you are with Upekka. Right? That is the highest state of mind. All right, now this person who wants to practice sammāsamādhi along the line of sammādhitti, sankappa, vacha, kamma, ajiva, vayama, sati, now moving on to sammāsamādhi, that person has been carrying on first, second, third, fourth jhanas, and then become very serene, peaceful, then left with Upekka, nothing else. No vitakka, no vichara, no piti, no sukha, no ekaggata. Only Upekka. That is the highest stage. Now what will happen to that person? Where is Nibbana now? That's a good question. Just because I come to Upekka, do I attain Nibbana? How this is going to be connected? Let me give you a hint for that. Samadhi and Panya are intertwined. What do you mean by intertwined? They are interconnected. Then, what are the other points where we see the interconnections? Samadhi and Vipassana also can be intertwined in different ways. But here, what we have to understand is Samadhi and Panya are intertwined. Now, what will happen to you when you are perfectly onto the fourth jhana? When you have Upekka now, just suppose you have Upekka, what will happen to you? Do we have to then try for Vipassana? Sorry, the Panya, this word always comes up, Vipassana. This I had to overcome that. Panya. Do we have to try for Panya, wisdom? We should never try for Panya. Don't say that. Why? Panya or wisdom arises as a result of the attainment of sammāsamādhi. Don't try for Panya. Panya will not come to you. Because when you are perfectly mounting your mind on Upekka, then you are fully able to see everything with anicca dukkha anatta perspective. That is the shift from, that is a shift from there. Do we see anicca dukkha anatta even now when somebody pass away now, when we hear some bad news? Yes, yes. Anicca, yes, impermanent, unsatisfactory. And then we don't call somebody, we have something. But the problem is we are interacting with reality in my own way, in your own way. We are not interacting with reality in its way. In other words, I see things as I am, right? Not how it is. So this is the point where you will attain panya, because you have perfectly developed your samadhi, sammāsamādhi. When you perfectly develop your sammāsamādhi, which means you have come to the upekkha, then panya arises, swelling. So the panya is what you call swelling out of that sammāsamādhi practice, because you are perfectly serene. You are not struggling with any object. You have balanced your mind perfectly at that point. Now let's talk about panya. So panya is the purpose over here, right? Final purpose. Panya means here, in other words, nibbana. Panya means nibbana. So as I told you, there are different ways for different people. Different things work for different people. For example, people who attain nibbana at the end of a Dhamma talk, people who attain nibbana after shaving their hairs, they are sansaric persons. Karma, good karma. And there are people who are meditating for the whole life, right? Who may have a stroke of luck, or probably not, right? It depends, because developing mind is not that easy as you think. You may go to a temple and meditate for many hours, but your mind might not be developed. Because you should have some good karma too, right? Because just because you think you can do, can we become doctors? Can we become whoever? Just because we think we can't be, we all can't be, right? So in order to succeed in particular things, we should have the gadgets. We should have the jewels that we have done for being eligible. So I'm not saying for those, I'm not going to disappoint anybody who attends meditation retreats. They are good stuff. I mean, rather than you just wasting your time at homes and they're struggling with sensual gratification, why not going for a retreat? No problem, not at all. But I warn you for two things. There are two types of people. The first is the modern mindfulness practice does not talk about sammāsamādhi. They don't talk about it, even in the West. They talk about mindfulness. There's no word called sammāsamādhi. That is the Buddhist version. Talk about samadhi, a little bit of samadhi. And at the same time, there may be teachers who might tell you that there is a 2-week crash rapid course that I can take you to samadhi, right? A teacher, meditation teacher might say, I have a 2-week course, serious crash rapid course, and you will end up with samadhi. I don't think if the teacher knows sammāsamādhi, he or she would have told like that. Sammāsamādhi is attainable, but in the right way, with some work, right? But it's not as easy as those people claim, because if it is so, then it won't be attainable in 2 weeks in that way. So what you have to understand at this point is sammāsamādhi is attainable, but you have to separate it from micchā samadhi. Ekaggata is a normal state of mind. Good side of ekaggata is sammāsamādhi. Bad side of ekaggata is sammāsamādhi, micchā and sammāsamādhi. Bad means micchā samadhi. And then we talked about how does sammāsamādhi unfolds. When you overcome your sensuality, you are going to what you call first, second, third, fourth jhanas. You end up with upekka. When you perfectly have upekka, what will happen to you? Your mind is going to be very peaceful and very serene. You are not attached to even any joy, any happiness, but that will help you. That upekka state will help you to look at or understand every object, every phenomenon with anicca dukkha. That is how the Noble Eightfold Path will move over to the Panya side. Now somebody might think, what is Vipassana? Where is it? What is it? That's a good question, right? So Vipassana is not our aim. Vipassana is a way of, Vipassana is actually the functioning of anicca dukkha anatta. Can you practice Vipassana with this event? Let's say somebody passed away. Can you practice? No, my practice of Vipassana is that this person, what happened to that person? I have to look through anicca dukkha anatta. But the most important thing is panya, the state of mind that you are attaining to. Right? All right. Any questions about sammāsamādhi before we go to the review?
Does that mean, Bhante, I'm not very clear. Does that mean the Noble Eightfold Path, there's a part for Vipassana and there's a Noble Eightfold Path for jhana, samatha.
Well, I have to
Is it
explain.
the same? I'm not clear.
Can you repeat again your question?
Is the Noble Eightfold Path practice one way by following the jhana and one way by following the
One
Vipassana?
way, wait, give me a
samatha.
second. One way by following dana.
Samatha meditation. The other is by Vipassana meditation. So the Noble Eightfold Path is actually two parts, is it?
No, not exactly. Actually, we don't talk about samatha and vipassana. Samatha, vipassana are names given by Buddhaghosa, Arahant, monk Buddhaghosa. We only say you have one samadhi, sammāsamādhi.
Whether you practice Vipassana or...
Just forget about these two terms. Just for a moment, just forget about these two. You are going to be complicated. Just forget about the word samatha,
Very
vipassana.
complicated.
Now only think about the Noble Eightfold. In the Noble Eightfold Path, you have your samadhi practice with vayama sati samadhi. So at the level of sammāsati, you are practicing kayanupassana, vedananupassana, chitta dhammanupassana, whatever the meditation that will work for you. That is your samatha, that is your vipassana at the same time. Later on, samatha and vipassana have been taken out as two traditions. And then they say, I practice samatha, you practice vipassana in this way. But what we say is that there is no samatha and vipassana. These are two ways how some people looked at the sammāsamādhi. All right. But now when you look for meditation practices, there are samatha meditation retreat, there are vipassana retreats. They promote that. But in the canon, we don't see that difference. Buddha said, otherwise Buddha could have said, sammāsamādhi, samatha and vipassana. He never said like that. He says sammāsamādhi is sammāsamādhi. You may call it different, right? You may call it different. So, yeah.
So, Bhante, so in the sammāsamādhi, we are referring to the four jhanas.
We are referring to the four jhanas with the perspective of the previous seven. If you lose that point, it is micchā samadhi.
So in other words,
all the seven of the Eightfold Path.
Yeah.
In other words, in order to get enlightened, we need to practice to gain jhana.
No. That is the problem. If we think, I will tell you, if we think we want to meditate, then the popular notion thought is that go do any meditation, samatha vipassana. Actually, that is wrong. That is not the place to start off. I teach everyone who wants to practice Buddhist teaching, they have to understand we have a cultivation plan. That cultivation plan starts from the samma ditti.
Yes.
Even you fix your mind, it is also a meditation.
Yes.
You have to first fix your mind. This is my focus. I want to attain Nibbana. That is why I start this practice. But if you forget about it, if you directly go to a samatha meditation practice, thinking that this is meditation, that is miccha samadhi. So cultivation is the thing. Don't call it meditation, because meditation has a very different contextual meanings now in the world. Mindfulness in the West, this one's meditation, that one's meditation. You look at the early Buddhist teachings, cultivation is our key. We start cultivating from the right view. Now, for example, Dhamma folks, now, if you do not fix your mind, now that is right view. What is right view included? Dana is the first one. Why it is important? If you do not overcome your lobha dosa moha to even to a certain extent, you can't start the practice. And also taking care of mother and father, why it is important? Gratitude. We need a sort of gratitude to our practice. There can be ungrateful people who can attain Nibbana in this
Yeah.
teaching. Taking care of mother, taking care of father, they are not just gratitude stuff in this life. When you take care of your mother, father, the Buddha said, it is like you take care of the Sangha. You have two fields of merits at your home, father, mother, then Sangha. Three merits fields, punyakettas. So Buddha said, start from them. If mother and father punyakettas, so you can take care of them. That will make your mind so peaceful. There are people who don't take care of mother and father, they try to take care of the Sangha. Okay. They try to hold it from the wrong point, wrong end actually. I know there may be some issues with their father and mother, but at least try to do something. So cultivation. Cultivation is the proper word for our meditation thinking. Start with sammādhi. Sammāsamādhi. You have to cultivate. How come you come up with good intentions, thoughts without cultivating? Because my raw thinking is not good thoughts. If we take everybody's raw thoughts, trying to harass other people, trying to come up with thoughts to disturb other people, trying to be very sensual, they are raw thoughts. Raw thoughts are always uncultivated thoughts. So when we cultivate only, we can have even sammāsamādhi. Sammāvāca. What is very easy to say? True words or untrue words? Untrue words are very easy to be given, right? Something happened or what happened? I don't know. But when you want to talk the truth, I think you have to think about it. Cultivation. Think about it. You have to create it. Cultivation. So sammāvāca also cultivation. For those people who think only I go to a retreat, I can cultivate, that is wrong. That is not the place to start. And then sammākammantu, not killing, not stealing, not misbehaving, cultivation. Because we have to do something for that.
Bhante, can we say that chanting is also a form of cultivation? Because we are chanting the truth, the words of the Buddha.
Very true. While you are chanting the true words, and also you are spending time for engaging in the true words.
Yes, correct.
If you look at your 17, 18 hours of your time that you are not sleeping, how many hours we are spending for the good things, right things? I mean, true stuff, right? So we have a big misinformation factory on the internet and around our people, right? So cultivation. Samma vayam also cultivation. It won't happen naturally. It's not automatic. It's not natural. You have to do something. Then samma ajiva, samma sati also cultivation. Now, what does it mean? The whole noble eightfold path is a meditation in that particular way, is a cultivation. But unfortunately, many people took samma sati is only the right mind. Why? The problem with the English word. That is why I'm saying you have to be very careful when you touch an Indian language with a foreign language. You have to be very careful. Unless we don't know the context, we might definitely misunderstand, misinterpret. Not even that, we will follow the same thing and we will get stuck somewhere in our path.
So Bhante, the English word for samadhi is concentration?
Well, this is what we say. If I say a different word, people might not understand. Right? So we have to say concentration. But
Because
we have to say,
Bhante, some they translate it as stability of the mind.
well, we might go for different words that
Yeah,
we think. But I say, why don't we use sammāsamādhi?
yeah,
Let's take the Pali word. If we take the Buddha, we don't say the blessed one. We always say Buddha. We don't
Yeah.
say
Right.
Buddhist monk. We say Sangha. Let's take the Pali word.
yeah,
So we are not
So-
misusing it.
yeah. So it's
That
safest
is
to
better.
use the Pali words, lah, not to
Pali
use the
words.
English translation.
Yes.
Just like karma, you don't translate the word karma.
Yeah, now it has been a word. I remember there was a monk who was teaching in Sinhala. Dhamma talk about the Noble Eightfold Path country. And there was some, I guess, some white folks attending the temple at that time. He was talking in Sinhala about sammāsamādhi, sammāsankappa, sammāvācā, sammākamma, sammāāji, sammāsati, sammāsamādhi. So the white folks didn't understand about because it's in Sinhala. But they understood Samma because there were a couple people sleeping while the Dhamma talk was going. Bhante, Samma sleeping. Right? Bhante, Samma sleeping over here. They thought Sam means SOME, is SAMM, long A, right? So let's take Samma, Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa. So we understand the original true context of the path. All right, so let's take another couple minutes for any questions. There's a new
Bhante, the
message that came.
sammāsamādhi, like concentration, can it be related? And can it be related to work or anything? We're so focused to one point when we are doing things.
No,
Besides
that will
meditation or
unless your work is going to be wholesome,
wholesome.
it is. If not,
Mhm.
it is going to be mixture. But don't worry, you are not trying to do some bad stuff like that cat, like that heron. Right? You are doing something that is conventionally okay. Let's say as vihanas, study people, work people, they have to focus on their job. But that is not literally sammāsamādhi because the focus may not be on a wholesome perspective. But there may be, for example, there is a professor who is teaching, who is thinking always, I want to teach the proper right knowledge to them because I don't want to mislead my students. This could be kind of sammāsamādhi. But the real sammāsamādhi, the true sammāsamādhi is practicing the 4 jhanas with the perspective of the preceding 7 factors. But if you take the lower version of sammāsamādhi in your household, at your workplace, then if you could do anything, let's say one example, I would say you are a teacher, as I said, the professor, I think. Let's say you are someone who is selling things to people. You are selling things to people. You have customers. You think that I want to sell original things. I don't want to cheat on these people. I'm not trying to sell things in a way that is not good. So your mind, maybe you are selling something not very, I'm not saying they are okay, normal stuff, but you are selling with the purpose, so I want to give the best thing to my customers, right? So that thinking, because you have a wholesome thought about it. So you can bring the lower version of sammāsamādhi in your household, at work, on the road. Probably you are driving. There is someone who is trying to, try to crash on you behind you. He wants to go faster than you. He wants to overtake you. Let him go wherever you want to go. You have a wholesome thought, right? I'm going to let him myself, behind. I want to let that person go. So there may be lower version of sammāsamādhi, but sammāsamādhi is attaining 4 jhanas with a focus of the 7 preceding practice.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I want to warn you about something. There are people, when they practice samatha meditation, or in this case, samadhi practice, whatever anapanasati or whatever practice, they might experience some mere milestones in their practice. They may think, okay, I'm more focused now. But do not think that is your samadhi. They are just mere milestones. They are glimpses of your calmness practice. Do not just get stuck in that. Unless you come to that perfect state of upekkha. Just keep continuing. Do not get stuck. Right? And there are people who, when they keep practicing, they see a big black rock. Oh, did you see that too? Other meditator. I didn't see that black rock. I saw something else. When your mind is getting focused, there may be some certain standalone objects coming to your mind. Don't think they are traps. They are traps. I warn you, mental traps. Keep continuing. Unless you won't have those object issues. You come to a perfect serene place where you are not attached to your joy, no object, but you have a state of mind. You can see everything in a very balanced way. Now, Dhamma folks, there may be someone who has not practiced jhanas, but he is already having lots of upekkha. Is it possible? Have you seen anybody around you in your family circles? There are people who are not that much worried, that much attracted, that much troubled by anything. They have been taking that from the samsaric life. Have you seen people, many of those people, who are getting very much irritated right away because their psychological makeup is not enough? Very irritants, a lot of irritants. Oh, how come he said that? I'm very worried about it. I'm going to talk to him right away. Right? Those people have not been able to practice equanimity, a balanced state of mind. Right? So there may be some special people who we might not notice them too, who have been practicing that long time. Sometimes this can come from generational impact, because now people talk about generational anger. My forefathers had some anger towards colonial people, not mine. Huh? Somebody might think. Let's say some of the First Nations people in the West, they say their forefathers have fought with the Europeans in the, I would say, in Canada and the United States. So they were very angry about how they invaded our motherlands. So that anger, we didn't know anything about. That anger has come to us through blood, generational anger. What if the opposite happens? My father and mother, they have been very nice, good people. If somebody has this opportunity, they are very kind people. They are not easily troubled by anybody. So I also get influenced. I have the same blood. Environmentally also, I'm blessed with that. That is also a sansaric kusala. Right? So there are multiple ways that we can see upekkha. So if you don't have it perfectly, try to practice sammāsamādhi, definitely. But there may be other ways people will come to sammāsamādhi in their own ways, in their own lives. Any other questions? Yeah.
One comment, Bhante, actually, I have seen many, especially foreign people with this Dhamma conflict with this the English terms. Actually, I wanted to ask the question today. I got the answer for that. Actually, the best thing is with the Pali words going with because a lot of people have asked with the English meaning, then is this the thing? Then actually I also can't explain what it is because they don't know what are the other things, because we are familiar with this Sinhalese a little bit. Then from the lot of we have learned this Pali, then we realize this is the thing we get in that word. Thank you.
Yeah, true. Yeah, now you see, if you look at some of the translations for the Dhamma, DHAMMA, the second triple gem, some people turn doctrine, canon. Even in some early Protestant translation, gospel. I said, gospel. Too much Christian about it. Gospel. And then what else? So many mistranslations to us because we have to study as much as we could do from Pali a little bit. So otherwise, we will do something, but I don't think it is going to touch our path. Right? That is why sometimes we have to be careful too, because if we take a lot of Pali words, people might be bored about it because people don't know a lot of Pali. But at least when we talk about some of the very important aspects, let's use Pali so people at least understand. Now, say for instance, the word wisdom. This is a very simple word in the West, in English. Are you wise today? But this is not the wisdom we talk about. We say panya to be yatha bhuta jnana dasan, seeing things as they are. This is our panya. So we need further clarifications about it. This is not the normal panya, that normal wisdom that we. So better to go for a Pali word, especially for those very important words. Otherwise, we might distort the meaning, right?
Okay.
Any other question? Today we are going to finish our Noble Eightfold Path lessons. That means we studied samadhi, sankappa, vacha, kamma. Sorry, samadhi, sammāsamādhi. Never say without samma. Samadhi, sammāsankappa, sammāvacha, sammakamma, samma-ajiva, sammavayama, sammasati, sammasamādhi. They each other support. They support each other. They circle around. They reinforce each other. Not even that, they increase each other's capacity. All right. And then there are three main supportive path factors: samadhi, sammavayama, sammasati. They are always, they should be used by us to understand all the other factors. We cannot understand any factor, any of those 7, 8 without those 3. So, Brother Gu, there is no 2 paths. It's only one path. That's the
Only one
Noble
path.
Eightfold Path. Only one path. Samatha Vipassana, they are classifications people give, but we don't have Samatha Vipassana separately. We say one sati. In that, you attain in different stages. You may call it Samatha, then last portion you might call Vipassana. So, my understanding is that if you want to practice meditation, say, my practice is cultivation. My cultivation starts from samadhi. It is a process. It is not just one sitting down meditation. It's a process. I have to fix my mind first. I have to fix my thoughts second. I have to fix my speech third. I have to fix my actions fourth. I have to fix my what? My living first, the way of my living. I had to fix my effort. 6. I had to fix my mindfulness. 7. I had to fix my concentration. Finally, last. Thereby, that is how I'm attaining panya. You cannot, don't ask me any detours. Huh? There are no detours. It's the only path. Go from the first, right? Although you're gonna practice simultaneously at a certain point. There are no bottlenecks. This is a direct path, and these don't have any shortcuts. You have to follow from the first to the 8th. But once you practice to a certain extent, as Brother Wu said, we feel comfortable. We can practice simultaneously, right? It's like you're driving, huh? You have to put your hands on the steering wheel. You have to put your one of the feet on accelerator. You have to ease out the brake pedal. You have to use your hand. If you have a manual car, shifting gears. You have to, look through windows, side mirrors, 360 degree, your attention, both sides. Many things have to be happen. If you only just place your hands on the steering wheel, you just keep going. Do you think, is that a safe driving?
No.
That is not a safe driving. I think it's a bad example, but I would say when you practice the Noble Eightfold Path, a lot of things have to happen simultaneously. Right? Can you have an excuse like this? Today I cannot speak right speech because I'm not able. I have no mood. I can do other things. Can you practice this path, David? No. It is your mood problem. If you want to practice as much as you can. There are people like that. I don't have mood today. I don't practice 2 things today. There's no excuses like that. All right. Looks like no more questions. So next Friday, we will be discussing the Dukkha Arya Satcha. Actually, now we are going into 4 satchas one by one. So we have a sort of a free time in the fourth truth because we already done the Noble Eightfold Path under the fourth truth. So we can just go to first, second, third, and just again, we can recap again a little bit of the Noble Eightfold Path. All right, so let's transfer all the good karmas to the Devas, Nagas, and Mahikas.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Depart.
Oh,
Sadhu, sadhu. Today, we all been discussing the final path factor of the Noble Eightfold Path, sammāsamādhi. Today is the last day that we discuss about the Noble Eightfold Path by definition, by expansive elaborations. And we have been accumulating a lot of good karmas. By now, may all these good karmas be transferred to all the departed relatives that passed away in the name of all of us. If the departed relatives that passed away in the name of all of us were already reborn in a place of pain, karma dukkati, may they be able to receive all these good karmas and then to overcome that suffering and be reborn in a place of comfort, happiness, karma sukkati. If they are already reborn in a place of comfort, happiness, may they be able to learn, apply, practice this Dhamma teaching. Noble Eightfold Path is the highest teaching of the Dhamma. It is the most important teaching. And finally, may they all attain Nibbana. Sadhu,
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 sadhu.
sadhu. Idammi jnati namu sukita huntu jatayo. Idammi jnati namu sukita huntu jatayo. Idammi jnati namu sukita huntu jatayo. May all the good karmas that we have been accumulating to this point of time be shared by all the devas, nagas, and Mahikas. I always reiterate, devas are deities. There are many kinds of deities, and Mahikas are those powerful non-humans, and nagas are those snake kings. They are not snakes. They are snake kings. They are snake beings, kind of individuals. They have lots of power. May all the good karmas be shared by all these non-humans. May they be well and happy. May they protect all of us, including reverend monks, and all of you, your family members, even your grandkids, for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May the Deva, Naga, Mahitika also finally attain supreme bliss of it. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi sambhatang punya sampradang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambhatang punya sampradang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambhatang punya sampradang sabbe sattha anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha cha bhummanta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tuloka sasanam. Akasattha cha bhummanta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tudesanam. Akasattha cha bhummanta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tumang paranti chirang rakkang tvang sadati. May we be in the company of Kalyanitas, noble friends or like-minded Kalyanitas, and not be with the Papamitas, bad friends, who can deviate us from our path. Thinking thus, we're going to make this wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagam Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patiyam. Finally, may all the good karmas which we have been accumulating in all these discussions today, we are marking the 16th Sutta discussion, our discussions, be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu,
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 sadhu.
sadhu.
Abhivadana siris nichang vadha prachain chattaro dhamma bandhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti me vacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate saminjaku. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.
And I wish you have a good night, and then we'll see you then next Friday to discuss about the first noble truth, Dukkha Arya Satya.
Good night, Bhante.
Bye,
Good
Bhante.
night.
God
Good
bless
night,
you,
Bhante.
everyone.
Thank you very much,
Night.
Bhante. Good night, brother and
Bhante.
sister.
Thank you
Good
very
night.
much. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Bhante.
night.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night, Bhante. Thank you
Good
very
night.
much.
See you.
Good night.
Bye.